Okay, so just doing a super quick test drive in the ultimate tool magnet. Oi, oi, oi. The Ranger Sport with my mate Brett Davis from Driving Enthusiast. You should go to his channel and check it out. He's one of the few motoring journalists who actually runs a V-box on everything. So you get more than just seat of the arse declarations about things like performance and things of that nature. Thanks for coming over.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
This would be the one you'd buy, right?
I'm looking
at you and I'm thinking tool magnet and I'm going, how can you resist?
Yeah, I think this is the one I would buy. Yeah, we were talking about that just before. So the Wild Track's got all the bells and whistles. It does come with the cover over the back, which is a big benefit. But for the price, this is just a little bit cheaper, and you could get your own cover if you don't like the roller shutter. You can configure it how you want it. But it comes with pretty much everything anyway.
So this is the V6 diesel sport. It's got the 10-speed auto, 184 kilowatts, 600 newton meters. It's actually a really well integrated package. I never thought I'd say this. Like, I have reservations about Ford, but performance and dynamics are not among them. They tend to do a pretty damn good job at that.
Yeah, the V6 is plenty of low down torque. Like, it's not a performance engine. I've always said think about it as like a replacement to the 3.25 cylinder. Like, it's not don't think straight away it's a performance engine. It's just got effortless torque. You don't have to put your foot down much, and that 600 newton meters is available pretty quickly.
Yeah, like 600 at 1750. So wherever you are on the tack, you've got endless mid-range power, basically. This thing just doesn't need to rev to get its shit together and rocket you through space-time. It just goes, yeah, okay, how much faster do you want to go?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's really quiet. Like, you could almost fool someone to thinking that this is a petrol engine. Like, it's not rattling around because it's got more cylinders. It's kind of, I don't know, more harmonious, I guess.
Not only is it not rattling, though, it's not vibrating all over the shop either. You know how some diesels are kind of like this, doing the St. Vitus dance all the time?
Yeah.
This ain't that. It's pretty civilized.
Yeah.
Dynamically good too, like steering and unladen ride quality. Even this one's got the optional bloody all-terrain tyres, and that hasn't fucked it up too badly.
No, it still handles pretty good. Like, I've tested all of the utes down the same little winding road that I do, and I think this comes up as the best. Like, it's not compared to a Porsche 911 or something like that, but out of all of them, this pretty much handles the best. It just feels nice. It doesn't feel uncomfortable.
Well, see, that's the other thing you do that I kind of admire too, is you attempt to exert experimental control on the way you do this by using the same road back to back. So you're familiar with that road and how different vehicles in the same competitive set go, and that actually allows you to draw comparisons against a car that you might not have driven until 3 weeks back or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think I like doing that. That way it's always a reference point. I know, hang on, that whatever D-Max went through and did this is going through and doing something else. And I can compare for that class.
Whether the transmission hunts at this speed up that hill and all that crap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is also very well integrated ergonomically, I'd have to say. I mean, I can see why your average bogan tool just reaches out and goes, baby, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good like that. Like, I'm getting it, and it's a well integrated package. I just got these reservations about Ford and long-term ownership and wet timing belts and things of that nature. And I know it's specifically difficult when you're road testing something. You can say, well, it feels like this and it goes like that, and the steering's like this, and the transmission's like that, whatever. But then you start entering the realm of speculative commentary, where you talk about long-term reliability and whether you'll get support and all of that kind of stuff. And maybe it'll be fantastic and maybe it won't, but that would be my biggest reservation. Because, see, I even like that stuff in the back. The step is really good.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't take a genius to come up with something like that, but it's just none of them have that, and it's very functional. If you need to get something in the back, you don't have to worry about standing on the muddy tire to grab something. You can just use that little step.
Dude, I'm always picking stuff up. I was bringing this huge milling machine, huge for a home milling machine, back from Hare and Forbes the other day in the Triton. right? And it's like 400 kilos. So it's the kind of thing that you wouldn't want to get wrong in the domain of strapping down, you know, because it's so top heavy as well. And the number of times I had to climb in and out. And like no step, say climbing up the tyre. And I'm not a courier. I don't do it every day, so big deal. But if I was, that step would make a freaking big quality of life difference to me.
Yeah, your knees would last a bit longer, probably.
Yeah, well, your sanity would last a bit longer.
That's
so it wouldn't suck your soul out, leave you a withered husk, you know. But the price is like early 70s for the Sport with a V6, right?
Yeah, it's just over 71, excluding on-road costs. So
yeah, so about less than 80 drive away kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you'd probably do better than that if you negotiated half sensibly.
Yeah. So it's pretty expensive compared with most of the rivals. You know, it's one of the most expensive.
Yeah, so it's a bit cheaper than a fully loaded Tasman, but at least the Ranger doesn't have the face of a smashed crab.
Yeah.
Right? So, and if you've got self-respect, aesthetics matter.
Yeah.
Like it's only in the fleet domain that's like, we don't care how it looks.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so you get this feature set for slightly less than the price of a fully laden Tasman kind of thing, fully loaded Tasman, and that new GWM Canon Alpha plug-in hybrid, that's just under 70 grand, and once again fully loaded. Right?
Yeah.
And 300 kilowatts.
Yeah.
750 Newton meters, but maybe Chinese dynamics. No one's really driven the production spec yet, have they?
Yeah. Whereas, you know, this is, you know, it's tested and developed in Australia. Whatever that means, it's seen roads like this during its development.
Yeah, well, they still have a brains trust here, right?
Yeah.
Ford still operates engineering brains trust out of Australia.
Yeah.
So, and they were good. Like, do you remember? You're not quite as decrepit as me, but you can see it coming, right? When you used to get in, remember when they had Falcons as taxis?
Yeah.
And the odd Commodore.
Yeah.
Every time you get in a Falcon, it'd be the most caned Falcon taxi ever.
Yeah.
And it still wouldn't be shit. It wouldn't be rattling and groaning and doing all that body disintegrity stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas you get in a Commodore and you'd be marvelling that it wasn't just falling to pieces over the next few hundred metres because it'd be so rattly and so shit. So Ford does have that secret sauce inside its freaking manufacturing and R&D DNA, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'd like to think that surely there's some sort of database that they've got that still exists. Whether they use it or not, I don't know, but they've got that history there. You know, they've got something there that they can look at and go, we know roads like this exist in Australia. We know, you know, certain types of bitumen is used most of the time. You know, they've got all this sort of data that they can just quickly reference to.
And surely the job in R&D is, you know, to take what we know and not make the product worse. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's inexcusable to have that database and for the product not to get iteratively better.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah. I'm surprised actually at how good this is, because this is only like one step up from XLT. So even though the price point frankly is pretty high, I can't believe how expensive utes have gotten.
Yeah.
You know, and since the pandemic.
They're all expensive, yeah.
Like I bought a fully laden Triton, fully loaded. I keep saying laden. I don't know why. Brain aneurysm, possibly. So if I go like this, you know, just grab the wheel.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It won't matter. We're just perfectly safe. My Triton GSR from about, I don't know, 4 years ago or whatever, I got that for less than 50 grand.
Yeah.
Like, those days are gone.
Those days are definitely gone. The prices of everything are going up. The D-Max is going to go up soon. I'm sure the Triton will eventually. That's still pretty good value, the Triton, these days. It's not as much as the rest of them, but yeah, they're all just ridiculously expensive. And cheaper models are coming in, which is, I think, pushing the price of vehicles like this up as well. Like, they've got nowhere else to go. They're not going to price it the same as the cheapest ute, are they? They're going to...
What I want to know is, what's the countermeasure? Like, Ford's released a plug-in version of this, right?
Yeah.
And the wild track is like 80 grand plus on road costs, so that's going to cost you 86 or something by the time you actually strap a rego plate on it, you know?
Yeah.
And then they're going to have to go up against the Shark 6 and the Canon Alpha plug-in hybrid that are mid to late 60s.
Yeah.
You know, and they got much bigger batteries and much more power, so notionally more performance. I get that the Ranger has more payload capacity.
Yeah.
And 3.5 ton tow capacity, so that's in front of the Shark 6. But where is the functional set of countermeasures against this influx of Chinese cheaper competitors? Like, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing anyone deploy it, and I'm not seeing Kia, for example, come up with, like, the pricing on that Tasman is outrageous.
Yeah. Well, when you say that, that's, and I could be completely wrong, but I feel like the brands that have been around for a long time, as we're talking about, they've got the data and they know something. Surely they know something. Like, like Toyota, it's one of the biggest producers of hybrids, yet its bestseller in Australia, the Hilux, isn't available with a hybrid. I mean,
this is great. Like, jackknifed motorhome in Galston Gorge. Every time I drive through Galston Gorge, right? And it's such a cool road to have a punt, and you're always behind some bloody boomer in a motorhome. Where were we? We were talking about Toyota being the biggest manufacturer of hybrids and no countermeasures for the influx of Chinese. Like,
yeah, but it just makes me think, surely they know something we don't. I don't know. What do you think? They would have a building just dedicated to accountants, wouldn't they? That's just figuring out what's right and what's going to work and what's not.
Okay, so here's the way I see car companies, right? They're functionally insane. My only conclusion after observing them closely since the 90s is that they're fucking crazy, okay? Yeah. So what they do is they have these brilliant ideas like, let's change the logo to K backwards N, okay? And let's put 1 million drones in the sky. See you later, jackknife boomer. Let's put 1 million drones in the sky and paint the logo, the stupid logo, and make a world record for number of drones painting a logo. Yeah. Or let's turn the London Eye into a fucking Q to launch Ionic. Or they do this stuff and they blow this money on this shit that nobody cares about. Yeah. And if you're in the boardroom and you say, dude, about the Chinese, it's like, what would we even want to talk about that for? We're rebranding here. We're doing some important rebranding. Why don't you don't have a future?
I've just got all these drones. Yes. Like, what am I going to do with these now?
We've just done the deal with DJI. But that's how they fucking carry on. And then they'll send 1,000 dudes dressed in Armani to all shitholes like Australia and just explain the new logo or whatever they do. You know how they carry on with this wank? But they don't actually go, shit, man, there's going to be 12 new Chinese brands here, and like,
maybe we should get prepared and actually build some stuff that competes with them.
How are we going to wage war on them? Because they're coming at us on price. We've got to hit back with, but people understand us, they're familiar with our brand, we do quality, you know. It's not as if they're without countermeasures, it's just that they're like,
it's like they're just sitting back relaxing and just, it seems like that.
Well, look, that JQ, please.
Great name.
Yeah. Hunter, cool. Like, really? Really? That's the best you've got? English second language is such a curse. But the car itself, that JQ, whatever they call it, plug-in hybrid, you know.
The little SUV.
Yeah, about the same size as an Outlander, right?
Yeah.
It's like 30 grand cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, compared with an Outlander with the same spec, it's $30,000 cheaper.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. So how do you say to a customer, oh no, it's worth spending the extra big bucks on our Outlander plug-in hybrid,
which is, you know, probably less powerful, less, you know, range and electric mode and all that sort of stuff, smaller screen inside, and
most of that is because of the development timeframes for a Japanese car maker, maybe 7 years or something. So from drawing board to actually in the flesh, 7 years, and then now we're another 7 to 10 years down the track on version 2.0 of the same design that's coming up for 15 years old or something.
Yeah.
You know, whereas the Chinese go, oh,
let's do it.
I want to build a plug-in hybrid and let's launch it next year.
Yeah.
And then they go, and it fucking happens.
Yeah. It's amazing how quickly they can do stuff, turn things around. Yeah. It's
I think it's just going to be super interesting. I think there's going to be brands that don't survive, established brands that don't survive in Australia
because of that. Yeah.
They'll just lose market share. And if you've got 100 dealers and they've devoted all this floor space to you and they've got a business plan that's based on selling this many units, and the Chinese come in and just, upend them.
Yeah.
How do you survive?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
So it's going to be really interesting time to be a motoring journalist if you don't want to have any friends, in the industry, kind of thing. But mate, this thing is not terrible.
Yeah, I can see why it's the most
restarts
popular.
okay. It's like it restarts better than a dozen other cars I can think of.
Yeah, everything works. Everything's I like the attention to detail with most of the functions that you play around with and all that sort of thing. It's just the reliability is the main question mark for me. Like if I was buying one, the reliability, but you've got warranty, so and what are you doing with it?
If you're going to own it for 5 years, it's probably okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd be kind of a bit more concerned if I was saying to myself, given my decrepit state, this will be my last car. I want to own it for 15 years. That could be the second half of that 15-year ownership term could be a bit confronting, couldn't it?
Yeah. It just depends. I think what are you gonna do with it? I think it matters as well, because the ones that have broken down, who knows what condition they were in? They're probably fleet cars that are just trashed, and kind of got to remember that they sell 4,000 or 5,000 of these every month.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a ratio there of.
And some of them will have been flogged by endless contractors. For sure.
Yeah. Concrete stuck in the back, like concrete floor mats.
Yeah.
Probably weighs a ton of payload with leftover rubbish from Mac.
Yeah, overloaded every day and thrashed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they, compared with the Hilux, right? I wouldn't have the same, I guess, concern with a Hilux, but it's not as if owning a Hilux is without consequences either, because you've got to kind of accept the menu that the king of mediocrity dishes up for you in a Hilux, which is like,
it's a bit boring. Like it doesn't. This is a bit interesting. The design, as you said, it's got
so
the V6.
diplomatic. It's like 6.5 to 7 out of 10 on everything.
Yeah, exactly. Which is boring, but it's maybe safe. But yeah, it just depends on what you kind of want.
Well, they are the king of conservatism. Like, let's do the minimum required. We know what the market expects, so we'll do the minimum required to keep ourselves up there in that number 1 to 2 spot.
Yeah, and just leave it on sale for 20 years as it is.
This is much more exciting than a freaking Hilux, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely.
And better equipped too. Like, it's just 1,000 times more contemporary.
Yeah. I think it hits the market well. That's obviously why it's selling so well.
Oh, it reaches out to the bogan. It does. It's like clairvoyant.
Yeah.
It's like that woman that you see across the bar and you think, Jesus, that could be wife number 7.
Yeah.
It reaches out. That's the implied, look at me.
Yeah.
It's reaching out to me like that now. That my inner bogan tool is responding.
Yeah.
Right?
What variant would you buy? Would you get the Sport or the Wild Track? Or
I wouldn't go higher than Wild Track. Like, I don't see the point.
The Platinum one, that's a bit. It's supposed to be luxurious, but it's kind of the
Wild
same
Track
piece.
X and Platinum, and
Yeah.
that's obviously just because there are people who darken the door of a showroom and they go, no, mate, I don't want to spend more than that.
Yeah.
And sell me some accessories.
Oh, the bigger, better one, Or the,
Show me the Ming Mole. I want to see the accessories.
Yeah.
I want her to get her accessories out.
They're the kind of guys that go into the ARB store and go,
Yeah.
what's that funny thing that you said
How
once?
much would you like to spend? And the bogan response is, do you just I'll just tell you when to stop.
Yeah.
Just get started.
Yeah.
Tell you when to stop.
Yeah.
The fucking thing is like 10 times it's
Fully loaded
GVM
up.
and
Yeah.
the guy hasn't said stop yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's got everything.
Yeah.
You want more sun visors on the side? Yeah. More LED light bars on the front? Yeah.
What do you mean you can only fit 3 LED light bars? What do you mean there'll be no airflow? Fuck that, mate.
Put another grill there.
Yeah. All right, so Driving Enthusiast on YouTube is where you want to go next, because Brett is an awesome reviewer of cars and he's doing a great job just straddling that gap between authentically telling you the truth about cars and still somehow managing to get invited back next time. So Driving Enthusiast, dude, love your work, Brett. Thanks for bringing the Ranger over.
Thank you. Good to see you again.